So it will be a little bit of a shorter version today because there's not always that much to discuss. Well, there's always a lot of news, but we will see where the market takes us today. So looking at General Mills, this is one of the companies we've been in, and while most people would have been rushing to take profits when they're up 4.5%, which we were last week, we have now locked in a 5% profit. We just let the profits run here. We moved it up really close, just below the last candle here, to see what happens. So really well done if you're in this. And finally, MPVR, Monolithic Power Systems, has moved. And now we're putting our stop loss at plus 1%, locking in another percent in profit. Same with SBGI. This is a Sinclair Broadcast Group. They have actually sunken like a ship. Well, they usually float, but nevertheless, this is now gone down and we're actually up 2% in profit. And for those of you who are new, right, we do trading, and then we have two strategies on investing on here as well. And the trading is simple. We only risk 1% of our entire portfolio, and we follow a trend. And as you can see, we have 3 bounces, 1, 2, and 3, and that's the time we enter. And then we hope for it to go down just because we're stacking the probabilities in our favor. So here we're now plus 2%, and we've locked that in as well, which is great news. EA, we're around break even on this one. So we needed to lower the stop loss a bit because it gapped down and took us in when it gapped down, unfortunately. So for this, we are currently around break even on that. So nevertheless, I think we are going to stay in this for the time being and see what happens. So we're in quite a few short, and the TMUS or T-Mobile US that we entered last week, it just kept dropping, so it's no trade. Because we always enter with a stop order, which means we enter when the price goes up, right? When it goes in our direction or down if we're shorting. So that's the next one we're doing. So before we look at the two new ones, there are 2 pieces of news I want to share with you. So the Fed, they did issue a 25 basis point hike as per expected, and the market reacted positively because it went from uncertainty, we didn't know, to what they expected happen. So we will see what happens here, but they might increase the interest rates more, right? They did not make it a promise that they would pause it or whatever they would do. So it kind of leaves us in a position where we don't know. And not only that, the ADP showed private jobs increase to 290,000. So it increased by 253,000 jobs, which is great news as well. And the market went up as a result. But to watch out for this week is that Janet Yellen, she actually issued a warning for Joe Biden that the US could run out of money when they reach their debt ceiling by the 1st of June 2023. So make sure you look out for that date, because that could have really bad effects for the market if they don't do anything about it. So there's a meeting tomorrow to come up with a solution. So it could, with the outcome, just be prepared for some volatility this week. So the market could really react in either direction. So we will see what happens. So depending on the news, we will see a continuation of the bull run or a little bit of a correction in the market. Now, that being said, what I do want to mention to you is this. Despite what's happening in the market, there are a few ways that you can actually take control of your finances. And one of them is definitely trading, right? Trading is awesome. And I'm going to show you 2 other charts that might tell you where you could park your money as well. And in terms of trading, not park, but kind of active investing at least. So if we look at these 2 companies, I think are really promising. We have one that is Avid Technology. We have a good looking Buffalo here. We're putting the order above and a good 3-to-1 reward risk ratio. So we're making 3 times as much as we're risking. And the other one is INSEE, a great range, a good here as well, a good trade, I believe. So we have the latest 3 bounces. On the line, we're putting the entry a little bit above here to look for this to go up as well. So we're placing these 2 orders to see what happens. Now, I do want to jump into cryptos because cryptos is definitely one of the areas we believe can do really well. And from last week, not much have happened. And I do believe there is a probability we do get a pullback. But I want to look at the weekly chart for just a moment. So what I want to look at here is this. You can see here, all the way over here, we got lower highs and lower lows. But then something happened. We now got a higher low and a higher high. So the tide might be turning for cryptos, which we absolutely believe is true. And for those of you who are not aware of it, there is an event coming up next year, which is the halvening. in roughly 1 year. And usually the halving makes sure we actually go into a really big bull phase in the market. The previous one happened here in May 2020. So then you can see what happened next. The market went up roughly 600%. So could cryptos be the area, not to park your money, but to maybe actually put some of your money and invest and maybe learn how? Well, by becoming an IM insider, you will get a great starting point for that as well. So we do believe in the shorter term, we could get a pullback in cryptos to then go higher. So that is Bitcoin in a nutshell. In terms of the other opportunities we had, not much to mention because the market has really been going sideways, but there are some good opportunities to get into. But that being said, let's do have a look at some of the news here. Now, I want to speak a bit about meme coins. The newest meme coin is Pepe. And Pepe has gone up 3,400% since April. And these meme coins, basically, they are, I wouldn't say a joke because, that wouldn't be fair to say, but basically Dogecoin, one of the first ones, they came out with a symbol of a dog, a Doge, not a Doge, but I don't know if it's a golden retriever, but nevertheless, it is a dog, right? And it's really, they copy the code of Bitcoin, but they have an unlimited amount of coins. So it is, for me at least, quite risky to invest in these because these could one day go to zero, the other day they could go up. Can you make money on these? Absolutely. Will they last for another 5-10 years? No, we don't believe so. And we do believe that and Pepe actually have a total and max supply, which is actually a good thing. That's more than you can say for Shiba Inu and the Dogecoin. But nevertheless, we believe there's better projects out there that actually solving something real in this world. And those are the type of projects that we invest into. But due to these coins, we have actually seen Ethereum having some problem with all the transactions that are happening. Uniswap is the biggest platform where you can do transactions on decentralized on the Ethereum network. And they actually had costs of over $30, which is the most in an entire year, driven by these meme coins and all the different transactions. So, that is very interesting. So, therefore, some might be looking at some alternatives to Uniswap, which we can look at quickly. We're in this at a 43% drop, waiting for the next entry. But alternatives such as Matic. So Matic could be a really good opportunity to get into because they will be the next. They are actually layer 2, which means they're making sure we can actually scale Ethereum. So Ethereum becomes even better. The next piece of news is that SEC concerns. So the court demands a response to Coinbase allegations in record time. So what they've said basically is that they have a response to Coinbase complaint over its approach to security laws for digital assets within a 10-day window. It's 10 days. They need to respond in 7 days. So the outcome for this might bring much needed clarity to the crypto regulatory landscape. And, within 7 days, we will find out. But we do believe that this is really good. Both Coinbase and Gemini, by the way, they're going to offshore. They're opening up new offshore exchanges just because it's so hard in US at the moment. We've discussed that before, but we do believe that is a really good shout. Now, Binance, they also actually have put the brakes on Justin Sun's $56 million transfer. They shut down the Soy token grab, which is a new token that Justin Sun or Tron is creating because they thought that Justin Sun might use them to fund the new Soy token via the Binance platform. And we believe this is actually a good move for Binance because what's happening is that they are dedicated to make sure they have a fair and transparent market and stay away from illegal activities. And them being in the hot seat at the moment with the SEC, but this might be a good move for them and a good solution. And tokens we're buying right now, well, we're staying away from Tron just because of this whole thing here. We want to make sure we keep just one little bit away. If you're holding it, or if we're holding it, but we're not selling anything, right? But we're holding it. But we're all looking into buying, Solana when it goes down, because Solana is really rapidly growing. It's down 80%. We did invest at 90%, but it is down 80%. And they actually exceeded Ethereum in number of transactions, which is incredible, of course. So that's really, really good. So last but by no means least, let's go into some of the stocks as well. So one of the, there's not a lot to mention. The market has been going sideways. We did raise the stop loss on CRM to 15%. And Microsoft, we have the stop loss at 20%. And then on Coinbase, we added a new entry at minus 43%. Those are the things we've done. But we also have a new entry. We are adding one project to what we're doing, and that is MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is from this high here down 43%. And they actually scores a massive profit after 9 quarters. Now, they are one of the largest company holders by Bitcoin. So if you believe in Bitcoin, this might be a great way to diversify into another sector. And they reported an income of $461 million or $31.79 per share. They exceeded earnings with 10,000%, which is incredible. A great milestone for them as well. And it just shows that their Bitcoin investment is driving growth and profitability for them. And we are avoiding banks at the moment, but this might be a great investment if you're not getting into cryptos, but indirectly via companies. So the last thing that I do want to mention here is to get into a company such as PAAS, like gold and silver. Now, gold and silver is really going up to somewhat of an all-time high as well. So this might be the second safe haven besides from cryptos that might be going up if the market goes down. So PAAS is a silver miner, is down 41.47% at the moment from its high. So a great place to do your first entries as well. So with that being said, there's actually no profits to take today. We're actually up 75.28% on the portfolio, the VCA 2,319% on the money invested, and the CCA 1,510% on the money invested, and with small caps, 4,220% on the money invested.